Well, last night we went over an old, I don't know if everyone was here, hopefully not. So we went over an old sutra, Zen sutra. Let me see if I can find it now. Famous one called Faith Mind. Yeah. Has everyone heard it? Faith Mind was,
No.
and of course, they're always trying to pin it on somebody. They said it was from the third patriarch of Zen, but they have no idea, I don't think. So Faith Mind was one of the first things I was introduced to from old Zen, like which was called Chan in China, the older Zen. And so we went over it last night, and I'm going to read it again because I think everyone here is, well, you can always hear it over and over again, actually. It's very short. So if you're interested in it, you can just go to YouTube, internet, Faith Mind, and the one we're using is Richard Clark, because that's the one I was introduced to. Okay, so if everyone's here, sit back, and here we go. So it starts out with the great way is not difficult. And then here comes the requirement for those who have no preferences. Now, does that mean no preferences appear? No. It's that you don't have the preferences. They're not yours. Yes? So the preferences are a mechanical activity of the programming. Yeah. In duality, a way of seeing, meaning understanding, is comparing. Yeah. So we compare this to that. Just like when I was a kid and I wanted to know if the clouds were moving, I would look at the cloud and then I would look at a tree that wasn't moving. And then I could see that the cloud was either going farther away or closer to the tree. It's a mechanical way of comparing and getting to something. So most people, as an action figure, are moved by preferences. Yes, you prefer to sit on the aisle and someone prefers to sit on the window seat at the airline, in a plane. Yes, and there's reasons for the preferences, and they're all body oriented. Like my bad leg, I have to urinate, so it's good to be on the aisle, or I'm going to upset the people I got to climb over. It goes on and on, all rooted in the action figure, quote unquote, reality. So it says the great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. Yeah. Okay. So does a preference notice mean you have it? No. Yeah. A preference noticed does not mean you have it. And he's basically saying the great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. Yeah. Though if he wanted to be clear, I would say it would be nice if he would have said, but preferences will appear. Yeah. But there isn't a you to have the preference. To me, that's the out of the statement. Yeah. Because have you tried not to have a preference? You always get caught in it. It's like a Chinese thumb torture. You can't get out once yeah. But it's saying very clearly for those who have no preferences. Preferences seen is not a preference had. Yeah. Because our nature is awareness, yeah, we are awake to the preferences. Yeah. When only one appears, there doesn't seem to be a preference, but it's based on choice or option. Yeah. I could have sat on the window seat, but I prefer the aisle seat. Yeah. See? So it's all this, there's choice and option, and therefore preferences arise. Now, we talked about Ramana Maharshi once, a lot of times actually, about when he was confronted once again with this question, that a lot of people who seek spiritually are very interested in and that is it predetermined, this life, or is it free will? Yeah. And then they actually think there's a subtler way, there's free will in the predetermination. So, yeah. So instead of going off on a whole thing about those possibilities, yeah, he went back and he said, if there's a sense of individuality. Now, does a sense of individuality prove there is an individual? Yeah. You've had a sense of being afraid because someone was outside the door and there was no one outside the door. Yeah. So a sense can be produced quite easily. Yeah. You watch movies. They produce a sense of dread by a creepy atmosphere. Yeah. If you watch a very good horror movie without the gore and all the killing, it produces a creepy atmosphere. Yeah. And that sort of feeling of dread is, but there's nothing there, obviously. It's a movie. Yeah. So he explains this so beautifully. He doesn't say there's no free will and there's only predetermination. He says if there's a sense of individuality, there'll be a sense of free will. Yeah. Isn't it incredible, eh? Yet, a sense of individuality does not prove there's an individual. In our head, it does. Yeah. And the head relies on that proof. Yeah. It constantly keeps repeating that proof. Yeah. You feel like a someone. You look like a someone. So in perception, you see yourself as a thing in a mirror, but you aren't a someone. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then basically he said, the real value of any question such as these is to really use that question to point who's asking the question. Yes. So here, if you see that you're not the one who's having the preferences, yeah, for that is telling the truth and actually in a silent way proclaiming that you have no preferences, isn't it? Therefore, the great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. What is it that non-duality opens you up to? It doesn't open up you to stopping having preference. It opens up to the idea that you're not the one who is the claiming of the preferences. Yes? You're not the one who has the preferences. So not having a preference, which is our inherent condition, makes the great way not difficult, obviously. Yeah, this is the basis of what we say called traveling lighter. Yeah, the great way is not difficult. Yeah. For those who have no preferences. Do you have the preferences or do you see preferences? First, you see preference. Yeah, you see comparing the aisle seat with the window seat. And then having the thing, I urinate a lot. It'd be best if I'm in the aisle seat. All this stuff goes on and makes a value in the opposites or the differences, and then you prefer one or the other. This is the bondage of duality in a sense, yes? Yeah. The preference come from choice or seeming choice. Yes? And then the seeming choice reinforces the idea that we have free will. And therefore, the sense of individuality, which is completely fortified, also gets reinforced with the sense of free will. Have you tried to not have free will as the action figure and go on an 8-day retreat? There is no free will. And then you go to Baskin Robbins the first day you're out of the retreat and you look at the 28 different ice creams and you feel like you have a choice. Yeah. The sense of individuality has a sense of free will. Yeah. Why stop at the free will? Go to the sense of individuality. And then the meaning that you're giving to free will or predetermination, it's so damn important to know which one. You'll lose interest in both of them. Yeah. Because you're just here right now. Yeah. Yeah. So it's beautiful the way it's said, because it's not saying no preferences. It's saying on having no preferences. Yeah. So if you're not the owner or the haver of the preferences, it's not going to make the great way difficult. Yeah. It's going to make it, yes, easy, or what it said is not difficult. Yeah. All right. When love and hate are both absent, and what is really present is the presence. Yeah. And the presence isn't, it's not of duality. It's not of love and hate, desire, aversion. Yes. These are the things that are compared with and choices seemingly about. Yes. The presence of what we are is not filled with love or hate. Yeah. Yeah. It's empty in a sense. Yeah. And therefore love can come through and hate cannot come through. Or hate may come through and you'll start a meeting based on hating the people at the meeting you were going to. You'll start a new AA meeting, and that hate will be put to great use. Yeah. It's fantastic. So make the smallest distinction, however. Who's making the distinctions? Is it you? Are you making the distinctions, or is the mental activity making the distinctions? Which is it? If it's you, where it says, oh, when love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Wow, pretty nice, eh? Make the smallest distinction, however. Do you make the distinction? Because have you ever tried to stop making distinctions? As the action figure, good luck. You can't do it. Yeah? You are made of a distinction. I'm distinct from Kathleen because this body looks different. So that is made of a distinction is not giving up distinctions. Yeah. But what happens if you're not that, which is made of distinction? Yeah. So you don't make the smallest distinction out, however. Yeah. Even though there's a small distinction, you don't make it. Therefore, you're still qualified for the great way is not difficult. Woo! These first two usually knock everyone off the game board. But with this understanding of non-duality, you're still in the game. You are. You made it through the first two gauntlets. Yeah? Because it's not you you're not that which has preferences, and you're not that which is making distinctions. What? Though distinctions are made, yeah, and preferences occur, yeah, but there's no one who has it. Like supposedly Lord Buddha said, events happen, deeds are done, distinctions occur, preferences are noticed, or whatever, yeah, but there's no individual doer thereof. This is what makes the great way not difficult. Yeah. You want to make the great way difficult? Try to give up distinctions. Try to give up preferences. Stop it right now. it's it's the air the action figure breathes in the dreaming. You can't spit it out. You're going to suck some in. So here, make the smallest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. Wow, infinitely apart. Wow. It doesn't look good that time is going to change it. If it's infinitely apart, time is not going to be your amigo. You're not going to get it later if you're not getting it now. So if you wish to see the truth, wow, then hold no opinion for or against. Okay, again, You're going to fail again. You're going to be kicked off the game board. Yeah. Are you able to hold no opinion for or against when before that it's seen as your opinion? There's no way. No way. But so why not go to what's before it, which is, are you the one who has the opinion or the one who wants to let go of the opinion? Or is there no one who has the opinion? And if there's no one that has the opinion, you're still qualified for the great way is not difficult. We've gone through 3 gauntlets already. Woohoo! Yeah. And here we go again. The struggle of what one likes and what one dislikes is the disease of the mind. Yeah. Again, it doesn't say the disease of the mind is likes and dislikes. It says the disease of the mind, where it is. Oh, it says the struggle of what one likes and what one dislikes. It's not saying like a dislike. It's saying what one likes and dislikes. Yeah. What one likes and dislikes is the disease of the mind. Yeah. Not likes and dislikes. It's the idea of there's one that's liking and one that's disliking. Yes. That's the disease of the mind. The bondage of self, the idea that every doing has a doer, every seeing has a seer. This is the bondage of self. Yeah? This is the disease of the mind. The mind is addicted to the idea of being the doer, the feeler, the one who has preferences, the one who has distinctions, the one who has opinions. Yeah. And it values its opinions, and it doesn't value probably other people's opinions. And it values its preferences, and it doesn't give a shit about the other people's preferences. Yeah. This is not the great way. The struggle of what one likes and what one dislikes. So when it stops being a struggle, when there isn't a one that likes or dislikes, yes? And then you see duality and not duality. Likes and dislikes is a movement of duality, isn't it? It's like hate, love, hate, desire, aversion. Desire pulls you towards something, aversion pulls you away. This is duality. The whole message is non-duality, not to. So the not to is preferences and what? Likes and dislikes are not actually true. What's giving them the meaning is the one who has the likes or dislikes. And that meaning is disqualifying you from the great way and making it super fucking difficult. Yes? When it doesn't need to be. You don't have to give up likes or dislikes. Just give up the one who has the likes and dislikes. How hard is that? Because you're not it to begin with. Hold on, I got to get back to this thing. I keep going through my own password on my iPad. Why is that? All right, so when the deep meaning of things is not understood, what is the deep meaning of things? Emptiness, yeah? Things have no meaning. Read the Course in Miracles, the first 6 lessons, yeah? I give everything all the meaning it has. When the deep meaning of things is not understood, that this is a dream in a way, yeah? Because if something was truly real, it would impose its reality on you. This is a subjective experience. We're giving meaning to things. And sometimes we give meaning to things that they're going to give us a meaning. But we're dreaming, yes? As the Course in Miracles says, we're projecting and then the action figure is perceiving. Yeah. So mind, big M mind's projecting the dreaming, and then this little action figure perceives the dreaming. And whatever can be perceived, which is an object such as this, is not that which is perceiving. Yeah. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinion for or against. Again, will there be an opinion for or against? Yeah. Yes. Are you holding it or not? Yes. I couldn't tell, but I can tell there's someone that doesn't want to hold it, or there's someone that thinks it's holding it. I'm not that. Yeah. You're still on the game board. The great way is not difficult. Yeah. Let's see. If you see the truth, they hold no. Blah, 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 blah. When the deep meaning of things is not understood, the mind's essential peace is disturbed to no avail. There you go. Yeah. How we're seeing things is like creating all the surface agitation. Even though it's still deep and quiet and silent, we're only seeing the surface and it's agitated. Yes. Not because the surface is agitated, we're making it agitated. Yeah. We're not, but the head is. Yes. So here, when the deep meaning of things is not understood, the mind's essential peace is disturbed to no avail. Well, I think there is a value in it that you see. If you've been disturbed enough, you may see that it's a failed system. Yeah. Yeah. Some people in recovery who have gone all the way to a deep depth have recognized something that they weren't recognizing through a book or anything. They recognized they were relying on something that was failed and that will fail. Yeah. And it's not going to improve itself. It's a failed system. And what can a failed system show you? It's failed. Yeah. Have you seen enough of the failure of the system to be convinced? The way is perfect like vast space. Wow. Yeah. Where nothing is lacking and nothing is in excess. Indeed, it is due to our choosing to accept or reject. Again, this is the duality of it all, yes? That we do not see the true nature of things, of course, yeah? What is the nature of things? Inherently empty. Ramana Maharshi presents it in one way. This is the mental beginning. There's a presupposing a non-existent thing is an existent thing. So that non-existent thing, which is empty of existence, yes, is now seen as an existent thing. This is not seeing the true nature of what's going on, yeah? And suddenly now we're trying to get salvation as the non-existent thing because we believe we're an existing thing. And we actually believe the thing is what's existing. Yeah. And when we say we're conscious of something, that which is conscious of something is pictured as a thing. Yeah. Yes. So he says, this is the situation. There's a presupposing. What's doing that? The head. Yeah. The presupposing of what? Not a non-existent thing. There's already a non-existent thing. It's presupposing the non-existent thing as an existent thing, and then wanting to get salvation for the existent thing. If this is the case, and he basically said this is the case, yeah, your spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing to being an existent thing. How can they destroy it? Yes? This is a pair of shoes. Try them on. Yeah. These shoes will talk to you. They're going to tell you a lot. Yeah. If you put them on. Yeah. Putting on the shoe may be enough to realize the futility of trying to arrive at where you already are. Yeah? Yeah. And it is futile. It can produce a lot of effects, but you're never going to arrive at where you already are. You can't redo it. Yeah? You haven't left, so you can't go back. All right, go through my password again. I'm afraid that I'm going to go into this computer. It's the only one who gets confronted with the password. This is me, seemingly. All right, so here, the way is perfect like vast space where nothing is lacking and nothing is in excess. Haven't you felt this? You must have many, many times since coming to Satsang. I would hope, yes. And if not, you got some nice free samples waiting for you. And nothing is in excess. Indeed, it is due to our choosing again. Yeah. So to accept or reject, is something going to keep choosing to accept or reject? Yes, the action figure. Are you the action figure? No. Therefore, you're not beholden to its accepting or rejecting. So the great way is still not difficult. Ah, beautiful, eh? We've gone through 4. Most people get kicked off the first one. We made it through 4 of them, four stanzas. This is the true sutra. Yeah. Live neither in entanglements or of outer things, nor in inner feelings of emptiness. Yeah. Live neither in entanglements of outer things, nor in inner feeling of emptiness. Yeah. When you make entanglements your home, you're the owner of the entanglements and they own you. Yeah. If you make the owner of emptiness, you're going to have a mental conceptual idea of emptiness, and it's not going to be the emptiness that produces an incredible wealth of presence. It's going to be an emptiness that creates an appetite for something, and you may get caught in the old hungry ghost of the Tibetan thing where the guy has a huge belly but a little mouth. It can never get fucking enough. Yeah. Yeah. So here, be serene without striving activity in the oneness of things, and such erroneous views will disappear by themselves. Yeah. Sounds like in recovery, you're going to be placed in a position of neutrality. The problem will not exist for you, and it will happen automatically with no thought or effort on your part. It sort of sounds like that, eh? Be serene without striving activity in the oneness of things. So in other words, don't be striving to get somewhere. Maybe you're already there, yeah? And check it out. And so you're now serene because you're not sweating from all the seeking, yeah? Be serene without striving activity in the oneness of things, and such erroneous views will disappear by themselves. As Kathleen said to people, she's learned a whole lot without knowing she's been learning. Yes, this is how it happens in satsang. When you try to stop activity to achieve passivity, your very effort fills you with activity. Wow, isn't that's the Chinese thumb torture, yeah? Let me say it again. When you try to stop activity to achieve passivity, your very effort fills you with activity. We have a statement in AA, you got to quit playing God. And if you've been identified as that which is playing God, and you try to quit playing God, that's playing God. It's like the same Chinese thumb torture as this, yeah? But quitting playing God doesn't mean the playing God stops. You quit being the one who's playing God, just like all the other stanzas. It's a stanza in AA, exactly. And then the great way of recovery is not difficult. Wow. As long as you remain in one extreme or the other, you will never know oneness. Yes, of course. those who do not live in the single way fail in both activity and passivity, assertion and denial. Yeah, there you go. Goes on and on. Yeah, but I think we'll stop there. Eh? If you've skied through the hardest part of the course, you're going to go all downhill from there. So the first 4 stanzas, the first one will knock almost everyone else out who thinks they're the doer. Yeah. So you're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. Yeah. Yes. Wow. So remember, the great way is not difficult. Are you difficult? Yes. Because you is not a part of the great way. uh, well, all right.
Thank you, Paul. That was nice.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
Very nice. The last one you were talking about reminded me of sort of like meditation, sitting down and try to meditate and be quiet, make yourself be quiet. And then like notice thoughts more than you ever did during your regular activity of the day.
Yes.
That's sort of what it reminded me of. But
Yes.
if anybody has any comment or question for Paul, please either raise your virtual hand or just let us know that you're wanting to do so.
If not, I can go on and do more too if you want, but go ahead.
And you want to do more too, which is fine with us.
I'll be like a threat. Yeah, I
Ah,
know you're
Mark
going to
says
ask something
wait. Mark
soon.
says wait.
It always works. All right, Mark.
How do you raise your virtual hand?
There's a reactions tab somewhere on your screen.
Oh,
And on the reactions tab, there's a raise hand feature. You have to click on the tab and then you'll see the different choices.
Or you can just do it the old way. Just ask. Yeah.
Yeah, or you can just say, hey, you're doing it already, Mark.
Up your foot or anything. Yes.
um,
Show me some bills. I'll get right to you.
it's not really a question for an answer. I'm just trying to get an idea of the principles that you described. And I've looked into Buddhism and stuff of that nature. And I don't come here from an addiction point of view. I came from I guess I've always been searching for the nature of things. So this seemed to resonate with me after studying a lot of Buddhism. My question is, it's not really a question. I'm trying to understand the difference between when you say there is no self, and there is no I am, and I sort of understand that, but yet.
Oh, there is I am. There is I am. That's the existence.
That's the existence. Okay, so if we're of a spiritual nature, if we're of a spiritual nature experiencing this sort of illusion that we're in, just using sort of words, and we don't have any say over the action figure, then how does it get influenced? Am I speaking now? Is there any sense of me speaking at this point or moving in your process here, in your understanding?
Yeah, you're moving.
Is there any sense of a self? There's no self doing that in the non-duality.
No. Well, I don't know. This is how I see it.
I understand.
Someone else. But in this case, everything is verbing. The idea of being a doer would be a noun, yes?
Right.
But how I seem to observe things before I was told to observe things a certain way is that everything is happening. Yeah. It's just
everything's happening.
Everything is happening, verbing. Things come and go, this and that, this and that. Yeah. Now the head reacts to that verbing and claims it, and it uses seeing to infer there's a seer. Yeah, you can tell when there's a doing, and if you're not the doer, you look at someone else as the doer, and if they're not the doer, then God's the doer. There's people. The head has a hard time leaving doing alone. It wants to make it a doer, yeah, and seeing, make it a seer. It just watch it. It gets very nervous and does it. It just mechanically does it, yeah. So that noun, has a biography here, yeah. So I was born, I went this and went that, and sometimes you'll go over the story of you as a noun in that biography. But if you run into something like the Course in Miracles that describes you as a verb, actually, verbing, and then you recognize you and I giving everything all the meaning and that seems a lot more intimate to me than the biographical story of the noun. Yeah. So it became obvious that there's just verbing. Yeah. And in the verbing, there's a movement that implies a noun, but that noun is presupposed before the verbing, you see? This is the bonding.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I see things. Yeah. So I see doing, but I don't believe there's a doer. And I had ample evidence of that under the influence of drugs and alcohol, because I did a whole lot of shit that I would never have come up with myself. Yeah. So I was driven by what was driving like millions of other people. And I went into a room with a number of those millions of other people. And when they were describing their thoughts, their feelings, and their reactions to life, they sure sounded like mine. Yeah. And I could only come to two conclusions. How did they get my thoughts? Or I've been sharing thoughts or something. Yeah. I'm not.
Would you say,
but we're being driven by shared thoughts, so to speak. Yeah.
so would you say that we're sort of passive observers? Any sense of us as a
Yes. On
spiritual
the
being?
absolute thing, yes. I feel we are the space that doesn't intrude with the cloud. Yes. I mean, we are like the sky that doesn't intrude into the cloud. Yeah.
And then what is it that actually would influence? Because I remember hearing a couple of your lectures saying that when you finally came to this realization of taking a step back, I think, or not caring as much about all the action.
Yeah, I would
Mhm.
imagine that would come from the solution or the source, which is what you call spirit. Yeah. So spirit
Okay.
comes through the action figure. Yeah.
Okay.
It moves the action figure, but it's not the action figure. Yeah. The action figure is a non-existent thing.
Do you feel that the spirit animates the action figure?
Definitely. Yes.
Okay.
Because I've seen people who was seeing as a body, and when I saw them in a casket, in a coffin,
Right.
it was obvious that wasn't Uncle Fred. It was
Right.
beyond debate. Yes, it was a sudden recognition when I was 9 years old. I was
I was just trying
living
to,
as if Uncle Fred was this body, because I was living as Paul was this body. And then when I saw the body of Uncle Fred without the I am, it was obvious that wasn't Uncle Fred.
gotcha.
Now, it didn't become obvious to me that this isn't Paul, because it's a stubborn program, mechanical. But it got filed away in there, and it's come up over the years now. Yeah, it was a sudden whack, but it was very obvious that Uncle Fred was not the body. Yeah,
I was
so
just,
yes, I think the body is not self-animating. It has to be animated by the I am, so to speak. Yeah. The movement
okay.
of
I was just trying to understand.
Hmm?
I was just trying to understand how everybody saw it, the non-duality concept is sort of new to me. So I was trying to just figure out.
Well, the non-duality I take at just face value, which is not two.
Right.
what we were reading was a lot about two-ness, right? Likes, dislikes,
Right.
preferences, choice, all this stuff. That seems to be the living manual of the action figure world. We're not of that action figure world. Sort of like Jesus said, we're in this world, but we're not of this world. Yeah. So here we are in this world of action figurehood. I don't think we're in a location. Yeah. When I say in this world, I mean our awareness is in this world. Yeah. But we're not of this world. So I see an action figure more than the action figure is seeing.
Okay.
Yeah, you get
Okay.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah. I see the action figure more than the action figure is seeing.
I like that. Okay, thanks. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And this is it. There's before, let's say the timeless would be obviously the infinite before, and then anything in time would be after. That before sees what comes after, yes? And what comes after cannot see the before. So, yeah,
Hmm.
using the before based on that you're this after thing, we're using the before to look for the before, but we're completely destined to fail because we're starting at the after. So the action figure is trying to get back to where it never left. Yes.
Right. I like that. Yeah,
And
okay.
the solution is born of futility, really. Futility. And here's the one statement, but two different emphases. A seeker, when he keeps running into, he's never getting it. He's super fucking frustrated, and he finally yells out, "I'm never gonna get it." But it's like frustrating and the anger. And then someone else listening to non-duality says the same thing. I'm never gonna get it, and it's hallelujah because he already is it. Yeah. The emphasis is completely different, but it's the same statement. I'm never going to get it is hallelujah in non-duality. In spiritual seeking, I'm never going to get it is failure. Yeah, I got to go to more surgical precision, constantly mindful, no preferences, no likes, dislikes. And there it is. And it's always going to fail because that's how it's successful. Because if you are what you're looking for, then all the looking for it is never going to work. That's a success. Yeah. And
Well,
the
the
fact
one,
is, you are what you're looking for.
well, the one thing that stuck with me after a bunch of your videos was you can't get out of self by being self. So
That's right.
that's always
That's
stayed in my head since you said that. So it kind of made a lot of sense on that
yeah.
side.
Yes. See,
Side of it.
we start
Also,
somewhere. We start at a manufactured point, literally. And some people live from that point and it's never questioned their whole life. Other people, it is questioned. Yeah. But we're in a manufactured point. And how the game board we're on is based on where you are on the game board. Yeah. So if you're at one point, you'll see the game board as Monopoly. If you're at this another point, you'll see it as Risk or something like that. In other words, we're giving the game board all the meaning it has. Yes. Yet, and we're trying to get to the mythical square zero, which is actually where we already always are. And every square we land on is square zero, but we're living as if it's square one, you see?
right.
And so even when we hear about square zero, we hear it from square one. And this is the delusion. So in a way, because of that, because if you were a lion and you were living in a certain way thinking you were a sheep, that could be cleared up in a second because a lion could come by, you look at just like him, and he'd go, "You're a lion," and it would be over. But here, the lion, in a second later, after the revelation, it was a lion, it will think about itself as a sheep again and say it had a lion experience. This is why we can't go to the one. We've got to negate the two. going to the one doesn't work. Negating the two works. Yeah, this is why it's non-duality. Yeah, many people here have tried to arrive at the one, purify to meet the one or whatever, or I was once with the one, but I did some heinous thing that I've been disqualified. All this shit. It doesn't work. Negating that idea of being that you at that manufactured point, yeah, negating that is the winner. I'm telling you, in my sense, that's the winner. Yeah.
Sorry, Paul, can you repeat that regarding the negating the two, if as regards to the lion? I didn't get it.
Negating the two-ness. So basically, the manufactured point has you on the board of Monopoly. Yeah. So there's you playing the game of life. There's two, you and the game of life. Yeah. That's what, so in that case, that two, there's a movement in the game of life to try to get to the one, but it's the two. And it's like the rich guy can never get through the fucking eye of the needle because he's got too much shit with him. Yeah, we got too much shit. Yeah. So that attempt to get to the one is one of the moves on the game board of two. Yeah. And you're going to arrive at the one as a two, which is going to neuter the one. Yeah. So this is a negation of that duality, not a denial, a negation. Denial is a mental activity that when the mental activity feels something is too real for its own comfort, it denies its reality. We're negating the false reality. And because it is a false reality, it fucking works. Yes. So there's a negation of the two. You can't go to the one because without knowing it, you're manufactured in the two already. Yeah. What's thinking, what's desiring to go to the one is what you're not. How are you going to? So any step you take with it as the one that takes the step is just going to add thousands of miles and thousands of years on it. Yeah. This is what they say. If you use the Buddha to seek the Buddha, you can try it for eons. It's never going to work. Yeah. If you use mind to seek mind, it's not going to work. If you use light to seek light, it's not going to work. We are the light. We are of light. We're in this world. We're not of this world. The action figure is of this world. We are not the action figure. We are of light. And we are the presence that allows this whole movie to appear on the screen of the sky. Yes. And this dream is more like a mirage. You can go to when you see a mirage and you think there's an oasis there, you're going to get water, and you go there and there isn't. When you go back 3 miles away from it, you still see it. But you know now there's no water. Yeah. So this dream has a mirage-like effect. Yes. Yeah. When you see it as a dream, it keeps dreaming. Yes. It doesn't stop, but now you're not going to the mirage well because you know there's nothing there. Yes. And if it's confusing to you, it's supposed to be confusing to you. And if you're getting frustrated, hallelujah, because now you're going to see what you're not. And I'll tell you, man, most things, spirituality, a lot of it may have not started this way. Spirituality, a lot of it fits itself around the one. Even the name of spiritual path implies a body. Spirit would never have to go on a path or take a path. Yes? The path of spirit would be open and wide. Yeah. We're talking about everything from a body identification. So now the body is going to attempt to become spiritual. Yeah. And then you're
Thank
going to
you
have
both.
diarrhea, and you're going to have to go back and purify yourself more and more. And, you know, and who's going to tell you when you're pure enough? Your head.
Yeah, I see that now. With regards to when you see negating the two, and now I've seen it too, like when you say I am not that, because it's so clear. But in a way, when I conceptualize, I don't know, the mind is so quick when I say I'm not that. There's a conceptualization of it, and it comes from the same thing again.
Yeah, well, just say
With
that
the
again to the second apparition. The ghosts disappear with two denials, two negations. That's why it's not, it doesn't say non-44 or non-83. It's non-2, not 2. So basically, the mechanism is the subjective self suddenly gets objectified because some knowledge comes into you by maybe a significant other or the police or therapist. And now you start becoming aware of self as an object that seems to be selfish and fucking vindictive and shit like that. Yes? Yeah. And now that objectified self is being viewed by the subjectified self, which you don't mention, you don't notice. Yeah. So now you see the objectified self as other than you, but you're seeing that from a subjectified self. So the bondage of self continues. Yeah. I believe if you don't see, you're not the object nor the subjective self, then there you go. That's not 2. That's the living action of non-duality to me, not 2. Yeah. Now there's Advaita and other things that made they're you thinking they have a whole other hierarchy going on, but I'm from the dog shit awareness school. Yeah. Which is not 2. Simple, and the great way is not difficult. Because you're not the one who has preferences. You're not the one who has the likes or dislikes. You're not the one, period. And everything that disqualifies you in this sutra is actually incredibly valuable when you look at it with a non-dual understanding. Yeah? You're not the one who has preferences. And it's because there's something that has the preferences that it causes the difficulty in the great way. Don't you see it? The diagnosis is super clear. Yeah. People go on a goose chase of trying not to think or have no opinions or no preferences. It always fails, usually in 5 minutes. Yeah. I remember when I got sober first and I learned about resentment, you know, having anger towards some people. And I'd get up in the morning and I say, I vow not to have a resentment today. 10 minutes later, fucking a resentment showed up every fucking time. My vow was broken in like 5 minutes or less. This is pointless. Yeah. You don't lord over these things because they're not yours. There's no one there. Yes? It's beautiful. It's the only way. See, when I used to read spirituality, I realized why a lot of people called, you know, ignorance is bliss, because it looked like a whole lot more work I was going to have to do. And I had a real belief I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail in giving up all my opinions. I am. I'm going to fail. Oh, fuck. I had a preference today. Yes. So what I think about having a preference is I should have none. No, you just don't have the preferences. If you believe the absoluteness is only going to be available if you have no thought, that's a fucking thought. You can't get out of this if you're in it. This is a negation of the reality of being in it. You're not. Yeah. So preferences. Do you think I stop and write down, oh, I had preference today? I could care fucking less. It's not mine. Yeah. It's not. I'm not, you know, I don't put a chip in every preference and every opinion try to follow with them where they go. They're not mine. Yeah. If I fuck up, I make amends. Who makes the amend? I don't know. The action figure is a crude machine. It's just like my dog knows if I look at it in a certain way, it has a guilty look all day. My dog walking around. It's got pre-guilt. It's just like, it hasn't done anything, but it looks fucking guilty. This is like we are. Jeez. Hey, this is just an invitation. Just an invitation from one non-existent thing to another non-existent thing. All right. If you grab something with your arm, yeah. And did you get one of those things where you can pick it up like like a thing sticking and you pick it up? Yeah. You're more or less to think, do you think you're that thing when you're picking up? You sure think it's you, this. Yeah. 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 All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Paul David from Down Under has his virtual hand
Right.
up.
David from Down Under. Come on.
G'day, Paul. G'day, everybody. I don't know if you remember or not, it doesn't matter, but I always say this thing that like pennies drop, like with different ways you say the same
Yeah.
message. And I just had a penny drop moment about, I suppose, 20 minutes ago when in a part of what you were saying, you just mentioned baby. I can't remember what it was, but it's that beautiful thing that you say, and you've explained a few times how we don't have the mechanical, like the subject object thing going on when we're little children. Like I forget to what age you've said,
A
but when
year
you
and
when you
a half.
mentioned, sorry,
I think or two about a year and a half, but it's general. But it's a
yeah,
period of time where there's nobody there.
yeah. So when you said the word baby before, somehow I just up in here went, I just can't remember being a baby. I don't think anybody remembers being a baby. I don't think like
You
or
weren't a
being
baby.
born.
You were never a baby. That's why you
Yeah,
can't remember.
or remember being born. Yet
Yeah.
the two halves of what I'm not are always telling me that they know everything about me, that they know right from the word go. Yet and then what led on a little bit further from that is I think that I've got this memory from when I was about 4.5 years old. And I've told lots of people about it over the years. It's a painful memory. I won't go into it. It doesn't matter. But from 4.5 backwards, the both side, what I'm not, doesn't know anything at
They were
all.
probably the best years of your life.
I reckon
You weren't present for the best years of your life.
that's it. And I also reckon it's not going to be able to remember. It's not going to be able to tell me anything about my death either.
No. Yeah, no,
You know?
the only people who are going to experience your death are other people.
Yeah.
You're not going to be experiencing it. There'll be
But
no one.
anyway, I just thought I'd say it was like a little penny drop moment. Even though you've said, I don't know how many times you've sort of said about being a child and all that.
Yes.
It's never hit me just like it sort of did then when you weren't even talking about that. You just mentioned the word baby when you were talking to Mark.
That's why you keep coming back, bro. You never know when the
it.
penny's going to drop.
Yeah.
No,
So thank
seriously.
you.
Satsang is a very interesting space. What happened? Yeah, it is very interesting space because if a lot of stuff can occur. We talked about this, if you don't mind, folks, or anyone want to ask anything? If not, I want to go off on a little riff about something. All right. In AA, we have 2 talks a week in recovery. And so on the earlier one Tuesday, we were talking about there's sayings from our community, and one of them is you work the steps and then the steps work you, and then you become the steps or something. Yeah. And so this first phase, you work the steps, is the dominant influence is still the problem realm, so to speak. Yes. So you, as the problem, can only see a solution by the problem's point of view, which is I got to do myself out of something. Yes. I've got to do something, do something, do something. And so suddenly you're doing that. And then you start having free samples of how the solution sees the solution, which is it happens without you knowing anything. Yes. And it's not a meritocracy. You didn't acquire it. It was just bam. Yeah. Yeah. And then you start getting established in now the solution informing you of the solution instead of the problem trying to figure out the solution. The solution is telling you about the solution. Yeah. And this is like you're going to be placed in a position of neutrality. You're going to lose interest in drinking and you don't know how it happened. The problem will not exist for you. And this is going to happen automatically with no thought effort on your part. That's the solution from the solution. Yeah. Yes. Yes. To me, in non-duality, you get the most solution from the solution. Seriously. Than the other things I was introduced to. In non-duality, there's more solution in the solution. Because there's nothing we're doing. Yeah. We're not going through any kind of ascension program, or there isn't like a stairway to heaven, and if you get really good, it turns into an escalator to heaven. It's not like that. It's basically you're it, even though your head doesn't think so. So yeah, it's beautiful. And I've been living the effect of the spirits, the solutions, a solution in recovery for years and years and years. The struggle was the problem trying to figure out the solution. Yeah, because the solution doesn't fit the mental logic. It doesn't you're not the emphasis. Yeah, you're completely secondary. I remember when I first started giving talks in recovery 33 years ago. And I assumed that what was going to come through me was based on how I was. Yeah. So if I had fucked somebody up an hour before, or my girlfriend left me, or if I had waiting to know if I had AIDS or not, back then you had to wait for 3 weeks. I thought that was going to affect what would come through me. And I was blown out of the water because that wasn't the case. What was coming through me could care less how I felt. Its condition was not determined by my condition. How many of us in our seeking, that which we're seeking is determined by our condition, not that which we're seeking's condition? Yeah. And don't you see that is a part of the problem? Yeah. We're laying the problem's idea about a solution. This is one of the first things that goes. Yeah. And you realize, just like when I came into recovery, they said, if you have any trouble with God or whatever, just make up one, have a higher power of your own understanding. Very quickly, when that solution was starting to knock on my door, it was obvious I don't want to have a higher power of my own understanding. My own understanding is up from the problem. Yeah, I want a higher power of its own understanding, which is the solution. Yeah. And that changed in about a year, and it's never gone back for 40, 35 more years. Yes. So a lot of times when the solution informs you of the solution, you get established in the solution. Yeah. You're convinced, and now it's always available at all times, right where you are. That's a solution from the solution. Yeah. We want a solution that fits the problem. Yeah. So it's got to be in a long, arduous journey, martyrhood, giving up, sacrificing. No, but this is bullshit in so many levels. Yes. There may be sacrifice, but there's no one that's the great sacrificer. Yes. You know, you're going to surrender, but you have previous girlfriends and contemporary girlfriends and hopefully future girlfriends meeting you at the cliff and the wind's blowing your long hair and you're going to have a giant surrender ritual. No. Yeah. In AA is go home and do an inventory. That doesn't sound like my solution. So, yeah. All right, anyone, or we're going to say goodnight? I'm into this thing with the steps because it really just, I've been having downloads around that, you know, the difference between a solution when it comes from the solution or from the problem. Yeah. They're both called solution, but they're quite different in nature and in nature, basically. There's a whole lot of doing when it's a solution from the problem. I wonder why. So it can reinforce the doer. Yes. There's a whole lot of seeking if there's a seeker. Yeah. Whatever. Hey, all right. I'm going to say, oh, we have Annette. All right.
We
Bring
have
it in.
Annette.
And
Paul,
then
we have
that's it,
Annette.
I think.
And then that will be it. But first, I gotta add though that my hallelujah from you was I don't know. That was my hallelujah statement.
Great.
Come on, Annette.
Hi. Okay. I feel compelled to chime in. I was listening, I think it was that YouTube. It was this week, and what stuck with me or stuck out. Sometimes these things hit me and it's just like gone. So I actually like texted it to myself. Sometimes I'll do that with things I want to try and remember just in general in life. But yeah, about it was on the 11th step into neutrality. The way I was seeing it in the moment, and now it's like again repeating as I'm listening, is to do with like just seeing power in a whole new way. Like it's not this hierarchy thing. It's like neutrality is power. Just that stillness, that no preference space is
Yeah.
like a new sense of power that I can't explain. It's not like of this place. It's not of what I have ever seen or experienced, or culture shows me what power is about. I don't know.
Yes.
It's hard to explain, but it's like, it's that peace that surpasses everything, I guess. It's just, I'll take that.
Is our own understanding, because our understanding is quite faulty. Yeah.
So it's hard to even put it on words, but that's what was coming, was like neutrality. It like the power of neutrality, of just like not having opinion, not giving a fuck, and really about anything to do with anything, politics or whatever, man. Like it's all that power that's given into these things that reigns over.
Yes. Well, yes.
Apparently in this world, anyway. But
Well, that's great, honey. And more's going to be revealed, as it says. Yes. This power is going to constantly reveal to us more. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. See, more revelation doesn't mean you got to get a bigger file system. Yeah. More, all the data may be in an emptiness. That's the greatness of it. Yeah.
throw away the file cabinet, period.
Yeah,
Stop.
exactly. It's quite efficient. I mean, it's the solution from the solution is quite revelatory. Yeah, so great, thank you. All right,
Thank
well,
you.
I think I'm gonna start saying goodbye. Annette, good night. Kathleen, as always, thank you. We got Mark. It's a pleasure, Mark. Nice to meet you, bro. Yeah, David, as always, yeah. William Stamps, we're with you we're with you, William. Ernie, nice to see you again. Craig, nice to see you, Craig. Yeah. We got carried tonight, yes. Not curried, carried, yes. It's got a less spice than the curry, but it's quite good. Carried. There it is. The carried dish. Alan Olson, my friend. It was such a pleasure to meet Alan, Amelia and I in Sicily. Yeah, very nice. Maria, it was a strange retreat, eh, in a giant hotel. Endless walking for, I don't know, crazy stuff. Here's Maria. Maria, how are you, honey?
Come and see us, Maria.
Maria was in Sicily also, yes.
Yeah.
See you, Maria. You should call us. Amelia would love to talk with you. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I can get anywhere. It says, I can't go to the other thing, so I can't see anyone else. So sorry.
There is an arrow on the right,
Where? Oh, is there?
right there. No, on the right.
I don't see the
Yeah,
arrow.
you just passed it.
I did.
Yeah, right there. See the arrow? Is that an arrow, the blue thing?
No,
What's
it
that?
isn't. It's something else. Oh, never mind. Well, thank you. I was happy to see everyone, and we'll be here tomorrow morning at 10:30 Pacific for the recovery meeting. And yeah, if you're interested, Zenbit Slap event page, all the Zooms have the same link and no password. And we have 2 live meetings, somewhat live on Wednesday and Saturday, full live. So if you're around Northern California, come on. Yeah. So thank you so much. Nice to see you, Maria, and everyone else. Craig, Kathleen. Adios.
Thank you, Paul.
Good night.
Thank you,
Thank
Paul.
you. Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
Paul.
Thank you, Paul.